Picture this. You're 35 years old, sitting at your kitchen table at 2 a.m., staring at a pile of bills you can't pay. Your bank account shows $47. Your credit cards are maxed out. Your rent is due in 3 days. You've worked hard your entire adult life, yet somehow you're drowning. You ask yourself the question that's been haunting you for years: why am I stuck here? Why does money flow so easily to some people while I'm barely surviving? Now, imagine a different version of you. Same person, same background, same starting point. But this version understood something crucial early on, something that the wealthiest people in the world have known for decades, a set of skills that aren't taught in school, aren't discussed at dinner tables, but are the exact difference between financial freedom and financial prison. Today, we're going to decode the mind of a man who turned $6,000 into over $100 billion. Not through luck, not through inheritance, but through a set of learnable, repeatable money-making skills that anyone, yes, anyone can master. This is Warren Buffett's blueprint for building wealth. And by the end of this video, you won't just understand how he thinks about money, you'll start thinking the same way. Welcome to BrezZze. This is Money-Making Skills by Warren Buffett, and this might be the most important 50 minutes you'll ever invest in yourself. Let's begin. Meet Marcus. Marcus Thompson was 29 years old, living in Austin, Texas, and according to everyone who knew him, he was doing okay. He had a decent job as a marketing coordinator, making $52,000 a year. He wasn't rich, but he wasn't homeless either. He was average. And that word, average, was slowly killing him from the inside. Every month played out the same way. Paycheck arrives, rent takes a third, student loans take another chunk, car payment, insurance, groceries, utilities, maybe a night out with friends, maybe a new pair of shoes he didn't really need but convinced himself he deserved. By day 15, he'd be checking his account balance obsessively. By day 25, he'd be living on credit cards. By day 30, he'd be back at zero, waiting for the next paycheck to repeat the cycle. Marcus wasn't stupid. He had a college degree, he worked hard, he watched YouTube videos about investing and read articles about building wealth. But somehow, that knowledge never translated into actual change. He was stuck on a financial treadmill, running hard, going nowhere, getting more exhausted every year. One night, Marcus was scrolling through social media when he saw a post from his old college roommate, Derek. Derek was standing in front of a new house, keys in hand, huge smile on his face. The caption read, "Grateful for the lessons that got me here. Started with 5K and patience." Marcus felt his chest tighten. Derek had graduated with him, had the same degree, started at the same salary level. How was Derek buying a house while Marcus couldn't even save $1,000? That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He opened his banking app and looked at the numbers that defined his life. Checking account, $284. Savings account, $0. Credit card debt, $8,400. Student loans, $34,000. He was 29 years old and had a negative net worth. At this rate, he'd be 50 before he was debt-free, 60 before he could retire, and even then, would he have enough? The next morning, exhausted and desperate, Marcus did something he'd never done before. He sent Derek a message. "Hey man, saw your post. Congrats on the house. Real talk. How'd you do it? I'm stuck and I don't know what I'm doing wrong." Derek's response came an hour later. "Thanks, bro. I'll be honest, I was stuck too until I read this book. Changed everything. It's called Money-Making Skills by Warren Buffett. Not a get-rich-quick thing, but if you actually apply it, it works, trust me." Marcus ordered the book that day. When it arrived, he made himself a promise. He would read it, really read it, and actually apply every lesson. No more just consuming information, no more pretending to learn while nothing changed. This time would be different. He opened to the first chapter. The title alone made him pause. The Wealth Mindset. Marcus realized with a sinking feeling that maybe his problem wasn't his income, his job, or his bad luck. Maybe his problem was the way he thought about money. And if that was true, then everything could change. He just had to be willing to change his mind first. Chapter 1. The Wealth Mindset. Marcus read the first chapter slowly, underlining sentences that felt like they were calling him out personally. The chapter opened with a brutal question. Why do two people with the same income end up in completely different financial situations? The answer, Buffett explained, wasn't luck or intelligence, it was mindset. One person sees money as something to spend. The other sees money as something to multiply. One person works for money. The other makes money work for them. One person thinks short-term. The other thinks long-term. Same dollars, different thinking, completely different outcomes. Marcus thought about his own relationship with money. Every time he got paid, his first thought was, what can I buy? Not, what can I invest? Not, how can I grow this? Just, what do I want right now? He'd been operating with a consumer mindset his entire adult life, and it had kept him exactly where he was, broke. The book told a story that hit Marcus hard. Warren Buffett started making money as a kid, delivering newspapers, selling golf balls he found on courses, buying pinball machines, and placing them in barbershops for passive income. But here's what set him apart. While other kids spent their earnings on candy and toys, Buffett was thinking, how can I turn this dollar into $2? At age 11, Buffett bought his first stock. Not because he had a lot of money, he had saved $114, but because he understood something that most adults never learn. Money is a seed. If you plant it wisely and give it time, it grows into something far bigger than what you started with. Marcus put the book down and did something painful. He calculated how much money had passed through his hands in the past 10 years. Between his salary, birthday money, tax refunds, bonuses, he'd probably earned around $400,000 total. And what did he have to show for it? Nothing. Not a single investment. Not a dollar in stocks. Not even a solid emergency fund. He'd spent it all. Every single dollar. On rent, sure. On necessities, yes. But also on restaurants, bars, clothes, gadgets, subscriptions, impulse purchases. Things that gave him a brief moment of satisfaction and then disappeared completely. What if he'd taken just 10% of that money and invested it? That would have been $40,000. With compound growth, that could be worth $60,000 or more by now. Instead, he had nothing. The book explained that the wealth mindset isn't about being cheap or depriving yourself. It's about asking one question before every purchase. Is this an expense or an investment? An expense takes money out of your life and gives nothing back. An investment takes money temporarily but returns more over time. Marcus realized he'd been making almost entirely expenses and zero investments. His money was flowing out and never coming back. No wonder he was stuck. That night, Marcus made his first real decision with a wealth mindset. He looked at his subscriptions: Netflix, Hulu, Spotify Premium, a gym membership he never used, a meal kit service, and 3 other subscriptions he'd forgotten about. Total, $147 per month. He canceled all but 2. The savings, $97 per month or $1,164 per year. It felt small. It felt like it wouldn't matter. But the book had said, a wealth mindset starts with valuing every dollar like it's a soldier in your army. Each one has a job to do. Marcus decided that from now on, his dollars would work for him instead of vanish into thin air. This mindset shift felt uncomfortable, like he was giving something up. But deep down, he knew he was actually gaining something far more valuable. He was gaining control. Chapter 2. The Magic of Compound Interest. 2 weeks into reading the book, Marcus came to Chapter 2, The Magic of Compound Interest. He'd heard the term before, everyone has, but he'd never really understood what it meant or why it mattered. Warren Buffett called it the eighth wonder of the world. Marcus was about to find out why. The chapter opened with a simple but devastating thought experiment. If you invested $5,000 today at a 10% annual return and never added another dollar, in 40 years, you'd have $226,000. But if you waited 10 years to start, you'd only have $87,000. Same contribution, same return. The only difference? Time. Marcus felt his stomach drop. He was 29. If he'd started investing at 20, he'd have an extra decade of compounding working for him. But he hadn't. He'd spent his 20s spending, not investing. And now that lost time could never be recovered. The book didn't sugarcoat it. The cost of waiting is higher than most people realize. Every year you delay is a year of growth you'll never get back. But the chapter also offered hope. The second best time to start is now. Marcus did the math. If he could invest $300 a month starting today, just $10 a day, with a 10% average annual return, by age 65, he'd have around $850,000. That wasn't billionaire money, but it was freedom money. It was retire comfortably money. It was never worry about bills again money. But here's what blew Marcus's mind. If he waited just 5 more years to start, until age 34, that same $300 a month would only grow to $550,000. 5 years of delay would cost him $300,000. The book explained why. Compound interest doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows exponentially. The longer your money is invested, the faster it multiplies. In the early years, growth feels slow, but in the later years, it explodes. Warren Buffett's own life proved this. He became a millionaire in his 30s, but 99% of his wealth was built after age 50. Not because he suddenly got smarter or worked harder, but because his money had been compounding for decades and the snowball effect had become unstoppable. Marcus felt a mix of regret and urgency. Regret for the 10 years he'd wasted. Urgency because every single day he waited was another day of potential growth lost forever. That weekend, Marcus took action. He opened a retirement account, something he'd been meaning to do for 5 years. He set up an automatic transfer. $300 every month would go directly from his paycheck into index funds. He'd never see it, he'd never be tempted to spend it. It would just grow. The first month, seeing $300 disappear from his paycheck hurt. It felt like a sacrifice. But Marcus remembered what Buffett said. The greatest investment you can make is in yourself and your future. Pay yourself first. By month 3, Marcus didn't even notice the $300 missing. His lifestyle adjusted. He found cheaper ways to have fun. He cooked more at home. He stopped buying things impulsively. But here's what changed everything. Marcus checked his investment account after 6 months. His balance was $1,847. He'd contributed $1,800, and the market had added $47 in growth. It was tiny, basically nothing, but Marcus stared at that $47 like it was a miracle. That was money he'd earned without working, money that appeared just because his dollars were in the right place. That $47 was proof that the system worked. The book had warned, in the beginning, compound interest feels invisible. You'll be tempted to quit because progress feels too slow, but don't. The magic happens later. The people who get rich are simply the people who refuse to quit before the magic happens. Marcus committed to never stopping. Not when the market crashed, not when he wanted to spend it, not ever. This money would sit and grow for 36 years, and when he was 65, he'd thank his 29-year-old self for finally getting started. Chapter 3. Learn to identify true value. 3 months into his journey, Marcus felt different. He'd saved $1,000 in his emergency fund, the first time he'd had any meaningful savings in his adult life. His investment account was growing slowly but surely. But then something happened that tested everything he'd learned. Marcus's coworker Brad was buzzing about a stock that was about to explode. Some tech company that was all over social media. Everyone was buying it. The price had tripled in 3 months. Brad had made $4,000 and was bragging about it constantly. "Bro, this is easy money. You'd be stupid not to get in." Marcus felt the pull. FOMO, fear of missing out, was eating at him. What if Brad was right? What if this was his chance to finally catch up? He could take some money from his emergency fund, throw it into this stock, and maybe double it in a few weeks. Why was he being so boring and slow with index funds when people were getting rich fast? That night, torn between temptation and discipline, Marcus opened the book to Chapter 3, Learn to Identify True Value. The chapter felt like Warren Buffett was speaking directly to him. Warren Buffett's most famous rule: price is what you pay, value is what you get. The chapter explained that most people buy stocks like they're buying lottery tickets, hoping the price goes up, with no idea what they actually own. But Warren Buffett never invested that way. He looked at every stock as if he were buying the entire company. He asked, does this business make good products? Does it have a competitive advantage? Will people still need this in 20 years? Is the management honest and capable? And most importantly, is the current price lower than what this company is actually worth? If he couldn't answer those questions confidently, he didn't invest. It didn't matter if everyone else was buying. It didn't matter if the price was skyrocketing. Buffett waited for value, and when he found it, he bought heavy and held forever. The book told the story of Buffett buying Coca-Cola stock in 1988. People thought he was crazy. Coca-Cola was old and boring. But Buffett saw value: a strong brand, global distribution, consistent profits, and a product people would drink for generations. He was right. That investment made him billions. Marcus looked at the stock Brad was pushing. He tried to answer Buffett's questions. What does this company actually do? He didn't really know. How do they make money? Not sure. Will people need this in 20 years? Maybe. Is it worth what people are paying for it? He had no idea. He was about to throw money at something he didn't understand just because other people were making money. That's not investing, that's gambling. The book was clear. When you don't know what you're doing, you're not an investor, you're a gambler, and casinos always win in the end. Marcus made a decision. He wasn't going to buy that stock. 2 months later, the stock crashed. It lost 70% of its value in 3 weeks. Brad lost everything he'd made and more. He was devastated, angry, blaming the market, but Marcus saw the truth. Brad had confused price movement with value. He'd chased momentum without understanding what he owned. Marcus kept investing in boring index funds that tracked the entire market. No excitement, no drama, just slow, steady growth. The book had promised, in investing, boring is beautiful. Excitement is expensive. Marcus was learning to ignore the noise and focus on value. And that discipline would save him from countless disasters. Chapter 4. Break free from greed and fear. 6 months into his transformation, Marcus had built a $2,500 emergency fund and had $2,300 in his investment account. He was proud. He'd never had this much money working for him before. But then, the market crashed. One week, his investment account dropped from $2,300 to $1,950. He'd lost $350 in 5 days. Marcus felt panic rising in his chest. Should he sell? Should he pull everything out before it got worse? What if he lost everything? His hands hovered over his phone, ready to liquidate his entire account. Then he remembered Chapter 4, Break Free from Greed and Fear. Warren Buffett's most famous quote appeared in Marcus's mind. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Everyone was panicking and selling, which meant, according to Buffett, Marcus should be buying. But that felt insane. How could buying when things are falling be the right move? The book explained, markets are driven by two emotions, greed and fear. When prices are rising, everyone gets greedy. They buy at inflated prices because they're afraid of missing out. Then, when prices fall, everyone gets fearful. They sell at the worst possible time to avoid more pain. This cycle transfers money from emotional investors to patient investors. The emotional ones buy high, greed, and sell low, fear, losing money. The patient ones buy low when others are fearful and sell high when others are greedy, making money. Marcus realized he was about to make the classic mistake, selling low because of fear. But stocks hadn't lost their value. The companies in his index fund were still operating. People were still buying their products. The only thing that changed was the price. And if the value was the same, but the price was lower, that meant stocks were now on sale. The book used an analogy that clicked for Marcus. Imagine your favorite store has a huge sale, everything 30% off. Would you run out of the store screaming? No, you'd buy more. That's exactly what a market crash is, a sale on investments. But most people do the opposite. They run away when they should be running toward the sale. Marcus did something that felt terrifying, but right. Instead of selling, he bought more. He put an extra $200 into his investment account while prices were down. It felt like throwing money into a fire, but 6 months later, the market recovered. His investment account was worth $4,100, not despite the crash, but partly because of it. By buying during the fear, he'd purchased shares at a discount that were now worth significantly more. That experience taught Marcus a lesson he'll never forget. Your emotions are not your friend when it comes to money. When you feel extreme fear or extreme greed, that's your signal to do the opposite of what your emotions are screaming. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, I need to learn these skills before it's too late, hit that subscribe button right now. Because every single week on BrezZze, I'm breaking down books that teach you exactly what the wealthy know that you don't. Books that show you how to build real, lasting wealth instead of just surviving paycheck to paycheck. Turn on notifications. Don't miss a single video, because the next book we cover might be the one that finally breaks you free from financial stress forever. Marcus was learning. Slowly but surely, he was developing the skills that separated the wealthy from everyone else. And he was about to discover that the most important skill wasn't about money at all. It was about something far more valuable. Chapter 5. Learn for life, earn for life. 8 months into his journey, Marcus hit a wall. He'd done everything right, saved money, started investing, controlled his emotions, lived below his means, but his income hadn't grown. He was still making $52,000 a year, which meant his ability to save and invest was limited. He could feel himself plateauing. How was he supposed to build real wealth on this salary? That's when he reached Chapter 5, Learn for Life, Earn for Life. The chapter opened with a quote that changed Marcus's entire perspective. The best investment you can make is in yourself. The more you learn, the more you'll earn. Warren Buffett's most famous quote appeared in Marcus's mind. Warren Buffett, despite being one of the richest people on earth, spends 80% of his day reading. Not watching TV, not scrolling social media. Reading, learning, upgrading his knowledge. He once said, "I've probably read hundreds of thousands of pages in my life, and I'm still learning every day." The book explains something profound. Most people think earning money is about working harder at your job, but that's a trap. There are only 24 hours in a day, and your time has a ceiling. The real way to increase your earning power is to increase your value. And the only way to increase your value is to never stop learning. Marcus realized he'd stopped learning the day he graduated college. He'd spent 5 years doing the same job with the same skills, expecting different results. No wonder his income hadn't grown. He hadn't grown. The book challenged, if you're the same person today that you were a year ago, why would anyone pay you more? Marcus decided to change that. He identified the skill that would increase his value the most in his field: data analytics. Companies were desperate for people who could analyze data and make strategic decisions. So, Marcus enrolled in an online course. It cost $400, money that hurt to spend, but he remembered, the best investment is in yourself. For the next 3 months, Marcus woke up an hour early every day and studied. It was hard. He was tired. Some mornings he wanted to quit, but he kept going because he understood short-term pain creates long-term gain. After completing the certification, Marcus updated his resume and LinkedIn. Within 2 weeks, he got a message from a recruiter. "I saw your new certification. We have an opening for a marketing analyst position. Interested?" The new job paid $68,000, a $16,000 raise. Marcus almost cried when he saw the offer letter. That's a 30% increase in income, which meant he could now invest $500 a month instead of $300 a month. Over his career, that one certification would add hundreds of thousands of dollars to his net worth. The book had been right. Investing in yourself has the highest return of any investment you'll ever make. But the chapter warned, learning once isn't enough. The world is changing too fast. You need to commit to learning for life. Marcus took it seriously. He set a new rule. He would read 1 book per month and learn 1 new skill per year. Not because someone was forcing him, but because he finally understood. Your earning power is directly connected to your learning power.
Chapter 6. Live below your means. With his new $68,000 salary, Marcus faced his biggest test yet. Suddenly, he had $16,000 more per year. His first instinct was to upgrade his lifestyle, get a nicer apartment, buy a newer car, eat out more often. He deserved it, right? He'd worked hard for this raise. But then he read Chapter 6, Live Below Your Means. Warren Buffett, despite being worth over $100 billion, still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He still drives normal cars. He doesn't wear designer clothes. He lives well below his means, not because he's cheap, but because he understands something most people don't. The fastest way to get rich is not to earn more, it's to keep more. The book explained the trap that destroys most people: lifestyle inflation. Every time they get a raise, they immediately increase their spending to match. They get promoted, so they buy a bigger house. They get a bonus, so they finance a luxury car. They make more money, but they never get ahead because their expenses rise just as fast as their income. They're running on a treadmill that speeds up every time they do. Warren Buffett had a different philosophy. If you can live on $40,000 when you make $50,000, then when you make $100,000, keep living on $40,000 and invest the difference. That's how wealth is built, not by spending more, but by investing the gap between what you earn and what you need. Marcus made a decision that his friends thought was crazy. He wouldn't change his lifestyle at all. He'd keep living in his current apartment, keep driving his current car, keep his expenses exactly where they were. The entire $16,000 raise would go directly into savings and investments. His friends laughed. What's the point of making more money if you don't enjoy it? But Marcus understood something they didn't. He was enjoying it. He was enjoying financial security. He was enjoying watching his investment account grow. He was enjoying the feeling of control over his future. The book shared a truth that hit home. Most people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't need, to impress people they don't like. Marcus had been that person. Every dollar he spent trying to look successful had kept him from actually becoming successful. Now, with his raise, Marcus was investing an extra $1,300 per month. His coworkers had no idea he'd gotten a raise because nothing about his life looked different. But his net worth was growing faster than ever. Within a year, his investment account had grown to $11,000. His emergency fund was at $6,000. He'd paid off his credit cards completely. He was 30 years old and finally ahead. Not because he was making a massive salary, but because he'd learned to live below his means. The book's promise was coming true. The secret to wealth is not making a lot of money, it's keeping a lot of money. Chapter 7. Distance from Debt. Marcus's transformation was well underway, but he still had one massive weight dragging him down: debt. Between his student loans, $34,000, and the credit card debt he'd just paid off, he'd wasted years paying interest instead of building wealth. Chapter 7 hit him like a freight train: distance from debt. Warren Buffett's philosophy was uncompromising: avoid debt like the plague. The book explained why. Debt is the opposite of compound interest. Instead of your money growing for you, someone else's money is growing against you. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar that will never work for you. It's not just gone, it's actively working for someone else. Marcus calculated something that made him sick. Over the life of his student loans, he would pay over $15,000 in interest alone. That's $15,000 that could have been invested, could have grown, could have set him free. Instead, it was going to a bank. The book was brutal. Debt is the enemy of wealth. You cannot build a fortune while simultaneously paying someone else to use their fortune. Marcus was approaching his student loans casually, paying the minimum, figuring he'd deal with them eventually. But the book challenged him. The longer you carry debt, the more of your future you're mortgaging. Every year you delay is another year of interest, another year of stress, another year of not being free. Marcus decided to treat his debt like the emergency it was. He created a debt payoff plan using the avalanche method. Attack the highest interest debt first while paying minimums on everything else. He cut his lifestyle even more. He took on a side gig on the weekends. He sold things he didn't need. Every extra dollar went to debt. It was uncomfortable. It required sacrifice. His friends were out having fun while Marcus was grinding. But he kept remembering the chapter's core truth: temporary sacrifice creates permanent freedom. Within 18 months, Marcus paid off $20,000 of his student loans. The day he made that final $20,000 payment, something shifted. He felt lighter. The monthly payment that had been haunting him for years was gone, and now that $400 per month could go directly into investments. The book had promised, freedom from debt is the first step to building wealth. You can't build a tower while standing in a hole. First, get to ground level. Then you can build up. Marcus was out of the hole. Now he could finally build.
Chapter 8. The Secret to Getting Rich Slowly. 2 years into his journey, Marcus was living proof that Warren Buffett's principles worked. His net worth had gone from negative to positive. He had $27,000 in his investment account and zero debt.
But he still sometimes felt impatient. His coworker, Brad, who'd lost money in that stock crash, was now into cryptocurrency, bragging about turning $1,000 into $8,000 in 2 months. Marcus felt the pull again. Maybe he was being too conservative. Maybe he should take bigger risks to speed things up. That's when he reread Chapter 8, The Secret to Getting Rich Slowly. The chapter's core message: wealth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The people who try to get rich quickly usually end up broke. The people who commit to getting rich slowly almost always succeed. Warren Buffett didn't build his wealth overnight. He built it over 6 decades of consistent, patient investing. His wealth looks massive now, but it grew the same way a tree grows, slowly at first, then exponentially over time. Most people quit before the exponential growth kicks in. They want results now, so they chase shortcuts, take reckless risks, and end up starting over repeatedly. The book shared a statistic that changed Marcus's perspective. 99% of Warren Buffett's net worth was built after his 50th birthday. Not because he suddenly got smarter, but because compound interest finally reached the exponential phase. In his 20s and 30s, Buffett was doing exactly what Marcus was doing: saving consistently, investing patiently, living below his means. The massive wealth came later, not because he changed strategies, but because he never stopped following the same boring strategy. Marcus realized he'd been measuring his progress wrong. He'd been comparing his year 2 to someone else's year 20. That's not fair. His job was to stay consistent, keep learning, keep investing, and trust the process. The book promised, if you can stay disciplined for 20 to 30 years doing the boring things that most people won't do, you'll have a life that most people can't have. Marcus committed to the long game. He stopped checking his investment account daily. He automated everything: his savings, his investments, his bills. He made wealth building so automatic that it required zero willpower. And then he just lived his life. He focused on his career, his relationships, his health, his hobbies. His wealth grew in the background, silently, steadily, unstoppably. 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, Marcus never stopped. He never panicked during crashes. He never chased get-rich-quick schemes. He just kept doing the boring, unsexy things that Buffett had taught him. And slowly, his net worth crossed $100,000, then $200,000, then $500,000. The growth was exponential now, not because Marcus was doing anything different, but because time and compound interest were finally doing their magic. The book had been right all along. Getting rich slowly is the only reliable way to get rich at all. Chapter 9. The Power of Consistency. Marcus was now 35 years old, 6 years into his journey. His life looked completely different from the broke, stressed-out version of himself who'd started this journey. But the most important lesson wasn't about money, it was about consistency. Chapter 9, The Power of Consistency, explained what separated the wealthy from everyone else. It wasn't brilliance, luck, or even hard work. It was simply showing up every single day and doing the boring, repetitive actions that compound over time. Warren Buffett's success formula was simple: read every day, save every month, invest for decades, stay consistent. Most people can be disciplined for a week, a month, even a year. But can you be disciplined for 30 years? That's the question, because wealth is not built in moments of intensity, it's built in decades of consistency. Marcus had learned this the hard way. The months when he was most motivated weren't the months that mattered most. The months when he kept going despite feeling unmotivated, those were the months that built his character and his wealth. The book shared a concept that Marcus wrote on his bathroom mirror. Small actions, repeated consistently, create extraordinary results. Investing $500 a month doesn't feel life-changing, but doing it for 30 years creates $1 million portfolio. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't feel significant, but doing it every day means 12 books a year, 120 books in a decade, a completely upgraded mind. Marcus's consistency had become his superpower. While others started and stopped, got excited and gave up, he just kept going. His investment account grew in the background. His knowledge expanded with every book. His career advanced with every new skill. Not because of dramatic breakthroughs, but because he never stopped showing up. The chapter ended with a challenge that Marcus embraced. Track your consistency, measure what matters, and never break the chain. Marcus started keeping a journal where he tracked one thing: did I invest this month? Every month he invested, he marked an X on the calendar. After 6 years, he had 72 consecutive months of investing. That unbroken chain was proof of who he'd become: someone reliable, disciplined, and unstoppable. Consistency wasn't exciting. It didn't feel heroic, but it was the closest thing to a superpower that Marcus had ever experienced.
Chapter 10. Make money a means, not the end. 6 years into his transformation, Marcus had built a net worth of $180,000. He was debt-free, financially secure, and on track to retire comfortably. But something unexpected happened. He realized that money had stopped being the goal. Chapter 10, Make Money a Means, Not the End, taught him the final, most important lesson. Warren Buffett, despite having more money than he could spend in 1,000 lifetimes, never made money his identity. He made it a tool, a means to live the life he wanted, to help others, to create value. The book warned, when money becomes the end, you'll never have enough. No amount will satisfy you. But when money is a means, you'll know exactly how much is enough. Marcus thought about what enough meant for him. He didn't need a private jet. He didn't need a mansion. He just wanted freedom, the ability to choose how he spent his time, to never worry about bills, to support his family, and to do work that mattered. With his current trajectory, he'd have that freedom by his mid-40s. That was enough. The book shared Warren Buffett's philosophy. Money is like gasoline on a road trip. You need enough to reach your destination, but you're not driving around just to collect gasoline. Marcus realized he'd spent his 20s thinking money was the destination. Now he understood. Money was just fuel for the life he actually wanted to live. Marcus started thinking about what he'd do when he hit financial independence. He wouldn't retire and do nothing. He'd teach, help other young people avoid the mistakes he'd made. He'd mentor, maybe start a blog or YouTube channel sharing what he'd learned. He'd use his financial freedom to create value for others. That's when money becomes meaningful, when it stops being an end and becomes a means to contribute, to help, to make a difference. The chapter told a story that brought tears to Marcus's eyes. Warren Buffett has pledged to give away 99% of his wealth to charity, not because he doesn't value money, but because he understands that money beyond a certain point doesn't improve your life, it improves others' lives. Buffett once said, "I want to give my kids enough so they can do anything, but not so much that they can do nothing." Marcus thought about his future differently now. He wasn't building wealth just to have it sit in an account. He was building it to have choices, to help his family, to contribute to causes he cared about, to leave the world a little better than he found it. Money had transformed from a source of stress and shame into a tool of empowerment and freedom. That night, Marcus reflected on the entire journey. 6 years ago, he was broke, stressed, and hopeless. He had no savings, massive debt, and no idea what he was doing. Now he had a 6-figure net worth, 0 debt, and more importantly, peace of mind. He could sleep at night without anxiety. He could make decisions based on what he wanted, not what he could afford. He could help his parents when they needed it. He could donate to causes he believed in. The transformation wasn't about becoming rich, it was about becoming free.
And that freedom came not from earning millions, but from mastering 10 simple skills. Thinking like the wealthy think, understanding compound interest, investing in value instead of hype, controlling his emotions, never stopping learning, living below his means, eliminating debt, committing to the long game, staying consistent, and remembering that money is a tool, not a destination. Marcus picked up his phone and texted Derek, the friend who'd recommended the book 6 years earlier, and said, "Hey man, I never really thanked you properly. That book you told me about, it changed my life. I just crossed 180K net worth, completely debt-free. I'm free. Thank you." Derek's response came immediately. "That's amazing, bro. But here's the real question. Are you gonna pay it forward? Someone out there is exactly where you were 6 years ago. They need to hear your story." Marcus smiled. Derek was right. The journey didn't end with him getting wealthy. It ended with him helping others do the same. Because that's what Warren Buffett had done. He didn't hoard his knowledge. He shared it freely with anyone willing to listen. The book had changed Marcus's life because Warren Buffett had been generous enough to teach what he knew. Marcus decided right then he would pay it forward. He'd share his story, his struggles, his lessons, not to brag, but to show people that transformation is possible, that you don't need to be born wealthy, you don't need luck, you don't need a high income. You just need to learn the skills, apply them consistently, and give them time to work.
Marcus was now 36 years old, sitting in a coffee shop on a Saturday morning, laptop open, working on something that mattered to him, writing a guide to help young people build wealth. His net worth had crossed $200,000. His investment account was on autopilot, growing steadily in the background, while he focused on living his life. But the number wasn't what made him smile. What made him smile was the freedom. He'd just booked a trip to visit his parents without worrying about the cost. He donated $1,000 to a scholarship fund for students who couldn't afford college. He'd helped his younger sister pay off her credit card debt and taught her the same principles that had saved him. Marcus thought about the version of himself from 7 years ago, the one sitting at his kitchen table at 2 a.m., staring at bills he couldn't pay, feeling hopeless and stuck. If he could send that version of himself a message, what would he say? Maybe this: you're not broken. You're not stupid. You're not doomed to be poor forever. You just don't know what you don't know. But here's the good news. Everything you need to know is learnable. Warren Buffett started with nothing and built everything through skills that anyone can master. You can do the same. It won't be fast. It won't be glamorous. There will be days you want to quit. But if you commit to learning these 10 skills and applying them consistently for the next 20 to 30 years, you'll build a life that most people only dream about. Not because you got lucky, but because you got disciplined. Start today, not tomorrow, today. Your future self is begging you to begin. Marcus closed his laptop and looked out the window. Austin looked different now, not because the city had changed, but because he had. He used to look at wealthy people and feel envious, wondering what secret they knew that he didn't. Now he knew the secret. There is no secret. It's just 10 skills applied consistently over a long period of time. His phone buzzed, a notification from his investment app. Your portfolio is up 8% this month. Marcus smiled but didn't feel the need to check it obsessively like he used to. The money was doing its job, growing in the background while he focused on what actually mattered: his relationships, his health, his purpose, his contribution. That night, Marcus sat down with his girlfriend, Sarah, and they had a conversation they'd been avoiding. Marriage, kids, buying a house. 7 years ago, Marcus couldn't have this conversation because he had nothing to offer except debt and stress. Now, he could. They ran the numbers together. With Marcus's net worth and Sarah's savings, they could afford a down payment on a modest house in 2 years. They could start a family without drowning financially. They could build the life they wanted because Marcus had built the foundation. Sarah looked at him with genuine pride. "You're not the same person I met 3 years ago. You've completely changed." Marcus thought about that. She was right. He wasn't the same. The old Marcus was reactive, impulsive, financially illiterate, and trapped. The new Marcus was proactive, disciplined, financially educated, and free. The old Marcus worked for money. The new Marcus made money work for him. The transformation wasn't overnight. It was 7 years of small decisions, boring consistency, and patient discipline. But those 7 years had bought him the next 50 years of freedom. And that trade was worth every sacrifice, every early morning, every moment of saying no to instant gratification in favor of long-term security. Marcus opened his journal and wrote one final entry. 7 years ago, I discovered that I was the problem. My mindset, my habits, my relationship with money, it was all wrong. But I also discovered that if I was the problem, I could also be the solution. I couldn't control the economy, the stock market, or my starting salary, but I could control how I thought about money, what I did with it, and how consistently I showed up. Those 3 things changed everything. If you're reading this and you're where I was 7 years ago, broke, scared, hopeless, I have one message for you. You can do this. It's not easy, but it's simple. Learn the skills, apply them, stay consistent, give it time. And one day you'll wake up and realize you're not just surviving anymore, you're thriving. The life you want is waiting for you on the other side of discipline. Go get it.
If Marcus's story resonated with you, if you saw yourself in his struggles, his fears, his breakthroughs, then I need you to understand something. His story can be your story. The only difference between Marcus 7 years ago and Marcus today is that he made a decision. He decided to stop being a victim of his finances and become the master of them. Right now, you're at a crossroads. You can close this video, go back to your life, tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, and wake up 5 years from now in the exact same place, or worse. Or you can do what Marcus did. You can decide that today is day 1. Not someday, today. Here's what I want you to do right now. Not later, right now. First, acknowledge where you are financially. No judgment, no shame, just truth. Are you in debt? Living paycheck to paycheck? Have you saved nothing for the future? Write it down. Face it, because you can't fix what you won't acknowledge. Second, commit to learning one of Warren Buffett's 10 skills this month. Pick one, just one. Maybe it's developing a wealth mindset. Stop seeing money as something to spend and start seeing it as something to multiply. Maybe it's understanding compound interest. Open an investment account and set up automatic contributions. Maybe it's learning to identify value. Stop chasing hype and start investing in solid, proven companies. Maybe it's controlling your emotions. Stop panic selling when the market drops. Maybe it's committing to lifelong learning. Read one book on finance this month. Maybe it's living below your means. Downgrade your lifestyle and invest the difference. Maybe it's getting out of debt. Create a payoff plan and attack it aggressively. Maybe it's committing to the long game. Automate your investments and stop checking them daily. Maybe it's building consistency. Invest every single month, no matter what. Maybe it's remembering that money is a tool, not an identity. Define what enough means for you. Pick one skill, master it, then move to the next. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to start and never stop. Third, track your progress. Marcus kept a journal. He tracked his net worth every month, not obsessively, but consistently, because what gets measured gets improved. Watch your number climb from negative to zero to positive to $10,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 and beyond. That number is proof that the system works. It's proof that you're winning. Now here's what I need from you. If this video gave you even a spark of hope, if Marcus's transformation showed you that change is possible, do 3 things. Hit that like button. It seems small, but it tells the algorithm to show this video to other people who are exactly where you are right now. Your like could change someone's life. Share this video. Think of one person you know who's struggling financially, who's stressed about money, who's stuck and doesn't know how to get unstuck. Send them this video with one message. Watch this. It helped me. That simple act could be the catalyst that transforms their entire financial future. And subscribe to BrezZze and turn on notifications, because every single week, I'm breaking down books that the wealthy read, but most people never discover. Books that teach you how to think differently, earn more, invest smarter, and build the life you actually want. These aren't just book summaries, they're blueprints for transformation, and you don't want to miss a single one. Here's the truth that Warren Buffett has been teaching for 60 years. Building wealth is not complicated. It's not reserved for geniuses or lucky people. It's a set of learnable skills that anyone, yes, anyone, can master if they're willing to be patient, disciplined, and consistent. The wealthy aren't special. They just know things you don't know yet, but now you know them too. Marcus started with $47 in his bank account, $42,000 in debt, and 0 financial literacy. 7 years later, he had a $200,000 net worth and complete financial freedom. Not because he won the lottery, not because he got lucky, but because he learned 10 skills and applied them consistently. If he can do it, so can you. The only question is, will you? 10 years from now, you'll either be financially free or you'll still be stuck. The difference is the decision you make today. Are you going to keep doing what you've always done and get what you've always gotten? Or are you going to finally change? Warren Buffett started investing at 11 years old with $114. He's now worth over $100 billion. But here's what most people miss. He didn't build that wealth overnight. He built it over 70+ years of consistent, patient, disciplined application of the same 10 skills you just learned. You don't need 70 years. You just need 20 to 30. And the sooner you start, the less time you'll need. Your future self is waiting. 10 years from now, that version of you will either thank you for starting today or resent you for waiting. Which one will it be? This is BrezZze, bringing you the books that change lives and the wisdom that builds wealth. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember, money is a skill. You can learn it, you can master it, and you can use it to build a life that most people only dream about. Now go, start today, build your wealth, create your freedom. The world is waiting for the financially free version of you. Don't make it wait any longer. Your journey starts now. Make it count.